through the times we had. I see it now, I see it now. Real love, now I'll break through to show to you that I'm more good than I am bad. I'll work it out, I'll work it out. And I'll be somewhere that you need me, and I'll be holding my breath, waiting for you to show.
Writers, write what they know. Liars, write what they wanna show. Singers, sing what they told. But I know you got something else to say. A secret language, speaking in tongues. Snake like tongue tied, you on the run. Tribal dancing, I don't know what you are, you are, you are, you are. Summer floating over my heart. We're both dancing over the dark side. I don't know who you are, you are, you are, you are. You got letters sprinkled all over your body. If I join up the dots, it makes me feel naughty. I feel like I shouldn't touch. You got a no touching sign. I feel like I shouldn't run. You're blocking the exit with your life. Addicted to light, center, always in the limelight. Show ya a real good time. Oh, I know you got something else for me. A secret language, speaking in tongues. Snake like tongue tied, you on the run. Tribal dancing, I don't know what you are, you are, you are, you are. Summer floating over my heart. We're both dancing over the dark side. I don't know who you are, you are, you are, you are. You got letters sprinkled all over your body. If I join up the dots, it makes me feel naughty. I feel like I shouldn't touch. You got a no touching sign. I feel like I shouldn't run. You're blocking the exit with your life.
Feel uninvited. Left home in West LA, I'm not excited. So uninspired. On my way to play the bay while you're alone. This girl's a wonder. She loves me, yeah, she needs to know I love her. I wonder if we'll make it through this summer. Just wanna touch like back when we were younger. Yeah. Why don't you love me, love me, love me? Touch me, touch me, touch me no more. Why don't you love me, love me, love me? Touch me, touch me, touch me no more. Love me, love me, love me. Touch me, touch me, touch me. Love me, love me, love me. Touch me, touch me, touch me.
I'm so divided, starstruck, but hate has got some indecisive. I'm over fighting, I just can't wake up cold and sleep alone. This boy's some trouble. When he's around, my problems seem like double. His stupid eyes put me on ice, so no, no. Don't slow me down, don't wanna do this solo.
Why don't you love me, love me, love me? Touch me, touch me, touch me no more. Why don't you love me, love me, love me? Touch me, touch me, touch me no more. Love me, love me, love me. Touch me, touch me, touch me. Love me, love me, love me. Touch me, touch me, touch me. I can't help myself, you're a drug to me. I just can't get enough. I know this is love, so come close to me while we're still young. Why don't you love me, love me, love me? Touch me, touch me, touch me no more. Why don't you love me, love me, love me? Touch me, touch me, touch me no more. Love me, love me, love me.
Touch me, touch me, touch me,
Touch me, touch me, touch me.
touch me, touch me, touch me.
Love me, love me, love me.
Touch me, touch me, touch me,
Touch me, touch me, touch me.
touch me, touch me.
Killed it, it's murder. Go crazy, berserker. I 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 killed it, it's murder. Go crazy, berserker.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Zero Gravity Gaming. It is week 9, it's the Gold League, it's the Solar Division, and tonight we have a matchup between Astro Gold and Beaver Beatdown. My name is Fennec. Joining me on the desk today, as always, is the lovely Thousand Eyes, and we're getting right into these picks and bans. How are you feeling tonight?
Feeling okay. Right now we are already seeing bans come through. The Senna is a pick that is still very strong, and I do believe Beavers like to play that. Astro's jungler does enjoy the Zac, so that is a pick taken away from him. But outside that, it's mostly, I believe, just champions that we sometimes see the opposing team play, but not really like anything super pocket picky.
Yeah, we will see what this last ban is. Given how the meta's been shaping up, I would expect an Ornn, which already there, which will leave
strong, guys.
Which will leave the power pick of Misfortune up available if Astro wants to first pick that one. I would say that's probably the most contested champion that's currently up. What would you say to that?
Yeah, the Misfortune's definitely the one that's most contested. The Aphelios was just nerfed this past patch, and it was actually a pretty sizable nerf, taking off healing from the Severum. Mordekaiser being covered, though, right now, and it's interesting now because we can see Mordekaiser jungle. That is a thing that is possible now.
Yeah, obviously haven't really seen it in these gold matches, but we have seen it a bit in solo queue. Haven't seen it in pro quite yet, but definitely he can be a jungler right now. Technically a flex, however, I would expect it to be top lane just given the history of these two squads. So it will be the Darius as the counter pick here.
Yeah, is a counter pick for the Mordekaiser. However, like we said, that can be flexed. So we'll see actually if Astro want to if this was kind of a bait just to bring out something like a Darius and then pull something out that can counter the Darius.
Did somebody say Fiora match?
Fiora?
Fiora? What? However, I would expect the Beavers to pick in either an ADC or a jungler here just to keep things up. So it will be Nautilus actually in support pickup. Kind of taking that away if the side of Astro wants to pick Misfortune. MF Nautilus is a combo we've seen a bit recently. But it will be the Morgana be picked up as the counter to the Nautilus.
Yeah, and that's pretty standard as we've seen lately. Nautilus is always a really strong support pick to always take up. He works in a lot of compositions. He gives you disengage. He gives you a really, really strong engage. And with Aftershock, he's super beefy. Morgana, though, obviously a really strong counter pick into that, especially because Nautilus specifically will pull himself forward still to meet halfway. And it is going to be the Aphelios taken. Interesting.
So with the Aphelios being taken, I would expect Beavers to pick up this Fortune because that will be banned away by Astro in the next rotation if they don't pick it up. However, we did see Aphelios nerfs come in. He's not as strong as he was in previous patches. However, still very good in the late game. Has a bit of a weaker laning phase, I would say. And the Beavers predictably do pick up the Misfortune here, as that is the highest priority champion available.
Yeah, the Trinity being either picked or banned once again. But now we are into the second phase of bans. Sejuani coming through, just your standard, really strong control jungler. The Echo possibly being taken away here. That's actually a twofer since you can see a lot of Echo jungle or even Echo mid lane, even though it's not as popular. So I do think that is a good ban. Orianna, once again, a pretty generalist ban. Beavers seem to really just be focusing more on what are the strong picks rather than the super strong champions players.
Yeah, and finally we see Ziggs being banned away. So this kind of telegraphs to me with the Echo and Ziggs ban both that Astro wants to play kind of a mid to short range mage matchup potentially. So I would expect potentially something like a Syndra, a Nivea, name your pick as to mages. Here, as we see, Jarvan being picked up by Beavers, obviously very good jungler still. Sejuani's been banned away by the side of Beavers, so picking up the Jarvan, very good early game, scales well into the late game, and combos very well with the Misfortune and Nautilus both.
Yeah, I really like the composition. It was the flex. Yep. Although the Poppy's still gonna really struggle in that lane. That is not a lane that Poppy really likes either. But the Poppy does actually. That could be Poppy jungle.
That could be Poppy jungle.
That could either be either or. But the Poppy will be able to nullify a lot of the Jarvan engage, so that is good in terms of that matchup. Okay, so this is going to be a Karthus mid lane, actually. We have not seen that too often lately, and against a Lux, that can be very, very finicky.
Hey, that said, yeah, obviously not something we see a lot of in the mid lane at the moment, but it is still, very good at poking out other mages in the mid lane. Lux doesn't really like Karthus Q at all, especially before she gets boots. She will get hit by pretty much every single one of them. So definitely one of those matchups where it really depends on the level of comfort with both of these champions.
It's skill shot dependent, really. One good Lux bind can set up a jungle gank, and Karthus will immediately die. And that's part of why we see Karthus in the jungle a lot more often, partially because his clear is absurdly fast if you can isolate the Qs, but also partially because it gets him away from having to fight for people or fight with people over. Yes, it is a little bit less like a mid lane Karthus who's constantly fighting.
That said, we are into the in-game picks and bans. It will actually be Poppy jungle instead of Poppy top, with the Mordekaiser in the top lane.
Yeah, so they did just they had the flex opportunity available. I am curious to see how that's going to go, because Darius is really capable of beating up on Mordekaiser. With the way he's been balanced lately, he scales into the mid game pretty well if things are even. But Darius in the early game has the opportunity to completely smash this Mordekaiser.
Yeah, and obviously when you pick up Mordekaiser, you're looking, especially when you first pick it, you're kind of telegraphing, hey, we just want to split push this game, right? And when you go into a Darius, that makes your 1-4 much more difficult to use. However, it is also a Darius, so it's entirely possible that he goes Ignite or Ghost instead of TP, which would negate any sort of split push advantage that Beavers might gain, if that is indeed the summoner spell choice, so do watch out for that.
Yeah, I do think teleport is pretty much a must-take here if you're going the Darius. I don't think you have the opportunity to really run the Ghost or the Ignite just because of Mordekaiser. But like I said, if they don't get anything going in terms of getting the Darius ahead, I think in the mid-game portions, Mordekaiser does have the ability to win those fights, especially taking him into the Shadow Realm.
Yeah, and obviously Mordekaiser, lots of gank insurance here, as we kind of see Beavers toying around with the triple flex, technically.
Oh, Darius can jungle too. Fudge.
That is technically a triple flex. Jarvan, technically, Jarvan can be a top laner. So that's how they finalized back into what we had expected when they picked here. That said, we talked a bit about the mid and top lane matchups. Let's talk a bit about the bot lane matchups here. Obviously, nothing too surprising in terms of what is picked, but with the Aphelios nerfs, kind of how do you expect this lane to go with the Aphelios Morgana versus Misfortune Nautilus?
So one of the main things that they nerfed on Aphelios this last patch was the healing from Severum, and that means any kind of damage that Misfortune is able to get down, and she can obviously hit very hard if she sets up the minions correctly, that damage is going to stick a lot more than it did in previous patches. The Morgana will be able to keep Aphelios from getting engaged upon, which against a Nautilus and a Jarvan is very useful, but the poke is really going to be the killer in that lane. If Morgana is able to get some good binds down on Are You Running? Why Are You Running? There's going to be the opportunity for Aphelios to get ahead, but honestly, I really feel like this is still going to be a strong lane for Why Are You Running in Raztez.
Yeah, and obviously, when we talk about late game, both these AD carries scale very well into the late game. So kind of, you're going to see a lot of fighting between the two. They have very similar areas while they will power spike. That said, moving on to the jungle matchup, it will be Poppy versus Jarvan the Fourth. And as Arrow has said in chat, Poppy actually got some jungle buffs this patch.
Yeah, she is technically a viable jungle. I haven't seen enough to really know if she's actually like strong or not. But she has gotten some buffs. Jarvan, obviously the standard and really capable, has such a great clear, has such a good, strong early game with his ability to just flag and drag into people. And just scales into the late game really well. But the Poppy can negate so much of the engage. Like, theoretically, Poppy is a counter to Jarvan. The flag and drag can be completely null and void if Poppy times the W correctly. And really, that's the only thing that Poppy needs to time that for. The Darius isn't going to dash, Karthus isn't going to dash, Misfortune isn't going to dash. You can technically do the same with the Nautilus Q, but it's not going to get you a whole lot. So I do, in theory, like this. I just don't know offhand how strong the new Poppy clear is.
Yeah, and kind of as we wait for the last little bits of spectator delay here, let's talk a bit more about kind of team comps. What are each of these comps looking to do? Let's kind of start with the side of Astro here. What do you expect from this? What do you expect their win condition to be?
So Astro has a much more kind of 4-1 pokey in that late game kind of setup. The Poppy and the Morgana and the Lux have a lot of ability to disengage with their bindings and the Poppy W, and it's all going to be about getting the Mordekaiser split push or getting that 4-1 strong enough that you can actually make progress in the 4v4. On the other side, though, you just have straight up engage. You have the Misfortune, you have for the ultimate, you have the Karthus for the AoE and the ultimate. Jarvan and Nautilus are heavy engaged champions, and Darius is basically just going to be that big beefy boy who's going to run around and beat up on people or handle that 1v1 pop.
As we are loading into the game here, Darius did in fact take teleport, as we kind of predicted here. However, interesting choices as far as summoner spells go. Really only Lux taking the barrier instead of TP, as we see both supports taking Ignite and looking for kill pressure in lane.
Yeah, and interestingly seeing the Electrocute there from the Poppy instead of something like an Aftershock, which would give a lot more tankiness and it's point and click activation with Poppy's E. So I'm actually surprised to see the Aftershock there. That's such an aggressive rune to take.
That said, Poppy damage, not something to laugh at necessarily. She does do quite a bit, especially if she goes for that Triforce build. So we'll see kind of how she decides to build throughout the game here, as we see both teams starting out with potentially invades. Will be a 5 points coming in from the side of Beaver Beatdown, but Astro Gold going for the bot side invade, potentially going in on this Misfortune. But that said, it is time to introduce the team. So on the blue side, it is Astro Gold. Misfortune will spot him out, but he gets binded up anyways! And the first blood goes over to Lux. I was about to say, Why Are You Running was about to get out of that one scot-free, but very good Morgana binding from the side of Jibs and Bits to guarantee the kill for the mid laner as they continue to push in for a bit of jungle vision. Sees the Nautilus. Poppy
Oh,
getting
no.
the stun at max range. Binding going to be a miss, though. And Raz will just flash out of that one. So Summoner Spell down from that bot lane. And some kill gold going over to the Lux. Puts this in favor of Astro Gold. Giving us time to introduce the teams on the blue side.
Oh,
It
no.
is Astro Gold, DKFM in the top lane, Irish Boomer in the jungle, Ball Slap in the mid lane, Daddy Riv in AD carry, and Jibs and Bits in support.
And on the red side, we have Beaver Beatdown. I wanted to make sure I got that right. Because I was like, is it Beaver or is it Badger? And
That's
mix those
Beaver.
up sometimes. We have Crazy Coffee in the top lane. XIL69 in the jungle. Nice. The Bully in the mid lane. Why are you running in the 80 carry position? And Razmataz on support.
Yeah, obviously, both these orgs, or I should say, a lot of these players are kind of staples of Zero Gravity Gaming Gold League, especially on the side of Beaver Beatdown. It is essentially the Blue Otter League admin team. As we see Bully, and on the subs sub list was actually Traxon as well. So interleague play, technically, but we do see an advantage off that early game from the side of Astro. Poppy was able to go ahead and take Jarvan's jungle. Jarvan decided, hey, we're just going to handshake this, takes the Poppy blue buff. So we'll just be avert from both these junglers as we see Poppy roaming down to the bottom lane.
Actually, Jarvan did not get the blue buff.
Oh, Steadfast Presence! And the line going to be a miss. Is why are you running? Forced to flash out of the way. Heal can be used by the Misfortune, but nothing more going to be gained or lost.
So, Jarvan actually majorly behind right now. The Darius ended up taking the buff.
Oh no.
I believe actually.
Yep,
did he?
Crest of Insight on Darius.
Yeah, and also has the blue buff. I don't know exactly what happened there, but Darius has double buffs right now, and Jarvan only just killed the Raptor camp. That is the only camp that Exile has right now.
Wait, he has Crest of Cinders too. What the heck?
No, he doesn't.
No, Darius has Crest of Cinders as well. He has
Yes.
both.
Yeah,
What?
he has both. I don't know what happened. I have no idea what
Binding
happened.
gonna land onto Misfortune here. She does not have Flash available and is ignited, down to about 150 health. One more auto might be able to do it, but she is able to get out with the E as Rasmataz will just take the Dredge line out.
So that's kind of what we talked about too, of the oh wait, we might have a gank at mid.
Irish Beaver coming in, does have the E available to him. Just gonna go ahead and auto bully though. As that card, this poke, still nothing to sneeze at. Ball Slap not gonna be able to get the binding quite yet, as we see some trading in the top lane. But do continue about this bottom lane matchup because it is interesting.
So yeah, we talked about like it should be in favor of why are you running in Rasmataz, but the problem is the early death, the early flash being blown, the early gank, there's so much pressure that it has now swapped into the other team's favor, and that extra pressure allows for Jibs and Bits to just play super forward. The health advantage is in their favor. He can just go for these constant Qs and look for stuff. Good
Level
disengage.
advantage
Pops.
on both too. As we see Irish Boomer coming in with Steadfast Presence, gonna go for the stun. Actually flashes forward back into the Lux, not gonna be able to get the
good
binding
dodge,
though,
Bully.
as he gets the E auto. So that will be Bully forced to back here, but Flash gonna be used by Irish Boomer as Bully does not go down.
That's twice now Bully has made a lot of good dodges. It's been really good to see the constant moves to avoid these Lux bindings and allows him to basically stay in the lane and actually waste Poppy's time.
Yeah, as we see Crazy Coffee up about a level.
Oh!
Oh, Ball Slap, flash forward, gonna be forcing the barrier as Bully will go back, but we kind of talked about how Karthus will outpoke this Lux constantly, especially if Lux doesn't have boots. Here
no, the
comes
ultimate!
the Requiem! And Bully gonna pick up his first kill of the game.
He got levels. He went back after that flash in, shoved the wave to get the ultimate, and confirmed the kill. Bully has been single-handedly, like, just making this gold still competitive.
Yeah, what was 1,000 gold lead? Now down about 300. Bully up about 7 CS, has the extra kill as well. Lux does have kill gold plus first blood advantage there. However, really where this gold lead is being made up, I would like to point out, is the top lane. Darius up about 300 gold on the Mordekaiser right now with a substantial 16 CS lead.
Yeah, and that comes from whatever happened that gave Darius double buffs, because the red and blue buff allowing for Darius to just constantly get in Mordekaiser's face in an already winning matchup. Like, you can see right now, Mordekaiser has to rush the Seeker's Arm Guard to just stay alive, and that is not what you want to do. You want to get that Rylai's as soon as you can.
Yeah, that said, I do not expect a completed Zoni's Hourglass coming in.
For sure.
Just Seeker's Arm Guard gives you the armor stats, lets you stack armor by killing minions, and that should be good enough for the lane. Might actually see a Protobelt come out from the Mordekaiser to get a little bit of health as opposed to the Rylai. Is going to be a later power spike, but I feel like that might actually be worth it at the moment.
Possibly. Bully, though, on the other hand, really scaling up well in this mid lane. And honestly, late game, Karthus, I will take more often than I will a Lux. I think the Lux has a lot of potential there, as we see some fighting up at the top side.
Yeah, 3 stacks, 5 stacks of passive actually on DKFM. He's going to heal through the minions there. The one good thing about Mordekaiser and Darius is that you can kind of negate his passive. Unless he hits Noxian Guillotine, in which case, rip. Poppy can use the ultimate to shove Exile, or I should say Crazy Coffee out of her jungle, but otherwise, map plays around the map. Both these teams about even in gold. We see Vision being contested towards this Dragon Pit as well.
Yeah, and honestly, like, Crazy Coffee is now allowing for XIL69 to get back into this game because of all that pressure. The top lane pressure allowed for Crazy Coffee to move up into the jungle and force Poppy to use that ultimate, and now that is an extra crowd control that cannot be used in ganks.
Yeah, as we see, Ping's heading out towards this Rift Herald. Poppy's trying to solo it right now. I'm not sure exactly what the hell it is.
So
this direct
well
camera hasn't
played.
shown as Crazy Coffee going in, forcing the flash out of DKFM.
Oh, no!
He's now under tower. DKFM will be able to pick up the solo kill. A bit hyphy from the side of the jungler. As we see, XIL actually able to get through the Steadfast Presence to get the Rift Herald. As Irish Boomer will go down a bit low due to the Karthus ultimate. XIL now just going to go the flag and drag to get out. Doesn't even need to flash, and the blast cone will keep him safe, as TPs are actually coming in from Crazy Coffee. They might be looking to continue the fight. Crazy Coffee going in. He does get 2 with the W. DKFM taken out super low. Will take Bully into the realm of death, and that's not the target you want to pick there, as Bully will be able to get the kill onto DKFM, and the rest of Astro is on the wrong Noxian Guillotine, forcing the Flash and Bearer out of Ball Slap, as that will eventually be a 1-for-1 with both top laners going down, but the Karthus now with 150 gold bounty.
Yeah, and suddenly Crazy Coffee just kind of going way too hard twice now in a row. The fight up in that top side there was started off really well for Crazy Coffee, was getting a lot of damage and getting the full stacks, but then took like even moving forward so that when the Mordekaiser used the E to disengage, Crazy Coffee was still in range to get damage onto DKFM.
Yeah,
but,
and we see this Rift Herald just being used, and now Bully has a gigantic gold lead.
Yeah, and then that TP in, XIL getting a great steal there, and then getting back out, but then Crazy Coffee going right back in, really wanting to try and make up off of that top lane death, and then just way too hard. And another great play from DKFM, actually getting the ultimate off, which canceled the ultimate from Darius, allowing him to stay alive longer and not giving Darius the reset.
But at the same time, he did go Realm of Death into Bully there, so...
yes. Yeah,
cool
not
on the
ideal.
Karthus.
I think I think you were going to be dead either way, but that got the teammates out, more importantly.
Yeah, definitely. As we did see, Lux was the target of the Noxian Guillotine there, but was able to stay alive. So, just very well played from the side of Beaver Beatdown to negate the effects of that fight, and then turn it around into an advantageous fight for themselves.
Yeah, and actually, Bramble Vest, second item now on DKFM, really trying to just stay alive in this lane as long as possible and make sure this Darius cannot go around there.
Yeah, and that's really for the Conqueror. Obviously, Darius doesn't have too much inherent healing in his kit. However, again, those Conqueror
The
procs...
Q heals.
Yeah, but not as much as Conqueror. Like, realistically speaking, as you see, DKFM will go ahead
We actually can win
take
this
the
fight, I
ultimate
think.
here. Crazy Copy goes down to about half health. There it is, and down to about 300 health.
He's too tanky.
Tries to heal off the Q, but DKFM is too tanky. And we'll be able to pick up the solo kill on the enemy top laner as we see the Misfortune ultimate will be used in the bot lane, forcing the flash out of Jibs and Bits, but he will go down as Bully is on a killing spree now. DKFM and Ballslap are here looking to contest this dragon, will be using the Lux ultimate, and will be able to get the kill onto the enemy support, but that is a little bit too little and late as the Bully will use his Requiem to ensure the kills for the rest of the team. Ballslap gonna pick up one there.
That didn't ensure any kills, though.
No, actually, you're right.
Yeah, nobody else went down, just getting the kill on the Morgana. And a great TP from DKFM confirmed so many kills because while Beaver Beatdown was running away, DKFM was just sitting there with open arms, just ready to collapse. And what started off really, really rough in that top side now is now a 3-1 Mordekaiser going for the Haunting guys.
Yeah, and he's up actually about 900 gold on the Darius here. So that Haunting guys, essentially the Bramble Vest doesn't exist in terms of gold difference, right? So that's the 900 gold right there. So now you're essentially looking at, oh god, this guy has a bunch of extra armor and Grievous wounds. Plus now he has Haunting guys for that passive as we see Irish Boomer moving in onto the mid lane. While going to be used to slow them down as Jibs and Bits take them down super low just by 1 Q. Bully forced the flash here as Jibs and Bits actually might go down to minions. He's down about 30 health. One more minion will do it, and the Bully picking up the kill off the minion aggro. Winions for the win.
You just gotta go in the bush. Just get away from him.
It's fine.
Oh my goodness.
We do see Triforce will be the pickup from the side of the Darius here, but he does have an early null magic mantle. Realizing he's not as ahead as he once was. DKFM now trading back on, gonna out heal Crazy Coffee as he looks for the Q, not actually able to get it. So only actually has all 5 seconds lead, but Noxian Guillotine's not going to do a lot as he goes into the realm of death. Stats are going to be stolen as DKFM, looking to do a bit more damage. Q going to hit, going to stack up that blood passive as the Poppy comes in right as the realm of death ends and DKFM goes on a rampage.
Yeah, and now DKFM is basically going to be able to do the split push and Bully.
Ooh, nice dodge.
Yeah, and Bully's just been constantly dodging out and hitting these Qs at the same time, mostly. Only a few that I've seen that have really gone wide.
And this is why I hate laning against Karthus.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's almost like kind of a catch-22 because you don't want to stand in the minions and let him farm and get damage on you. But if he decides to get that poke onto you with the Qs isolated, it does so much damage.
Yeah, a bit of back and forth in the bot lane. We do see Misfortune does have the Essence Reaver almost ready to go. Affiliates was able to get to that first, though. Has about a 900 gold lead for himself, just kind of off this farm and harass. 20 CS advantage there.
Bully.
You see Bully dodging out another final spark. There comes the comment, not able to get the binding though, as Requiem will be popped. XIL going to use the Cataclysm to try to get the kill, but Ballslap does have the ultimate. So 2 ults for a flash worthwhile trade if I've ever seen one.
And the Requiem is just doing so much damage there. That was like half of Ball Slap's health just from the Requiem. And that's only going to get worse as Bully now gets the first turret down. Playing with fire, but coming out unburned, and will be going back. Has a good 1,500 in the pocket. And I believe that's going to be the Oblivion Orb coming through, possibly?
Possibly Oblivion Orb is up against
It's either
Kaiser
Oblivion
Poppy,
or-
so it could be Haunting Guys.
It could be Haunted Guys, yeah. It's one or the other.
That said, taking a look in the top lane, Darius actually completes the Mercury treads here, so gonna spend a little bit less time in the Realm of Death.
I don't think that actually would.
Because you can QSS Realm of Death, so and Mercury.
Yeah, but
treads,
that's all crowd control, and tenacity is only a certain types.
I thought Tenacity worked on all crowd control.
No, if you hover over the boots, you can see
Hold on.
stuns, slows, taunts, fears, silences, blinds, polymorphs, and immobilizing.
Okay. Today I learned.
Yeah, that's why like Merc treads aren't going to help you against teams with
Mordekaiser.
knockups.
Yeah. And they're not going to help you against a Mordekaiser either, right? Because most of the CC you actually want to remove is the Realm of Death. You don't really care as much about his pull. As we see the Dragon going to be started up by the side of Beaver Beatdown. They do have the Cloud Dragon. This is going to be another one as Irish Boomer going to move in with Steadfast Presence, but he might get caught out. Force to Flash as the TPs are being channeled from Crazy Coffee. Dragon down to about 1,000 health as the Lux not able to snipe it in time. Red team going to pick up the Dragon. XIL smites that as the Ocean Drift is going to be the soul of Ball Slap. Now in a bit of trouble. Q from both the top laner and the mid laner will secure the kill as Bully picks up yet another one. 5, 1, and 0 for this Karthus.
Yeah, and if Beaver Beatdown win this game, I have to imagine that Karthus is going to be taken away next time because they do not seem to really have an answer for it. The Poppy made a lot of early ganks in the mid lane, but never made anything happen, and Lux just hasn't been able to shove Karthus in enough to help with that.
Here comes XIL, though,
now.
looking for a bit more as Razmataz will get the root on to the Morgana, who was forced to flash, so the ultimate from Misfortune will be able to secure the kill, but it will be traded back on to XIL as Jibs and Bits going to be forced to flash. Will go down to the Ignite tick as DKFM now in a 1v2 scenario. Will make it a 1v1 as he takes Misfortune into the Realm of Death. That's got to be a dead AD carry, so it will be an overall 2-for-2 in the bot lane.
Yeah, the worst part about the Realm of Death too is Misfortune can't basically use her passive past the first auto attack. There's nothing else for her to hit. She's just stuck basically doing whatever items she can get now, and Bully once again getting damage down.
Did somebody say this is a QSS game? Because I feel like it's a QSS game.
It's
Mordekaiser
absolutely
pushes.
Yeah. I honestly feel like it should be the QSS coming up next right now for why are you running, because otherwise if DKFM is able to just constantly TP into the back line, Misfortune's never going to get anything done.
Ooh, Ball Slap. Stealing
Bully.
that camp. Bully forced the flash actually to get out of the Lux E. No look for the light
going
binding. Not
back
going to be
in.
able to get it in the blind one, but does see Crazy Coffee off the E. Now Ball Slap forced to use the barrier and the E to go down. Here comes the final spark and able to get the kill, but will be traded back. But the shutdown gold does go over to the Lux, and that is an extra 350 gold. Or
I'm
150, I should say.
I'm not sure what Bully thought was going to happen there. Just constantly. You can't. The one thing that Morgana and Lux both like is when you are chasing into them and just going straight at them. It makes the bind so easy to hit. Especially when you're up against a wall. It leaves so little options for you to just back out.
Only able to actually get one on the ultimate as Crazy Coffee. Will get bound up by the Morgana. Gets the pull on to the Poppy as Black Shield will be used. Here comes the Morgana. And she will go down to the Lux ultimate as Crazy Coffee. Will be able to pick that one up. Flash forward from Crazy Coffee to get the Noxian Guillotine onto the Aphelios for the double kill. And the triple off the third Noxian Guillotine. That's going to be a Baron going right over to Beaver Beatdown. And really just clean plays from them.
Yeah, a lot being blown to just try and chase this Karthus around. And honestly, I'm not super impressed with Jibs and Bits Morgana. It's been a lot of mispositions and a lot of late black shields that have gotten either himself or his AD carry killed. Because Razmataz needs to be a little bit careful there, but we'll get out.
Yeah, Luck's not going to be able to snipe that Baron as DKFM is going to go ahead and split push in that bottom lane. Will be a tier 2 tower potentially as recompense here, but Darius will chase him off of that one. Small LS moment will be the Merlinomicon being finished for the Karthus here instead of just sitting on the Oblivion Orb. Not a huge fan of that itemization, but hey, he's ahead, so not too much I can say about that.
Girls.
Yes, LS moment there. Like, Oblivion Orb is a good item on Karthus. I 100% agree with that.
Yes.
However, there just isn't enough healing to justify the Grievous Wounds when there are more stat-efficient items. But that's all for the LS moment here. Obviously, he's ahead. He can do what he wants. He has plenty of damage. But
yeah, it's a gold efficiency that is not going to be noticed terribly much just because of how far ahead Bully is right now. Is Ball Slap.
Another fight gonna be popped as Ball Slap forced to flash out of that one. DKFM now gonna get the pull on a Bully. He's not gonna go down to the final spark, but Daddy Rib will go down to the Aphelios as he was just CC'd to death here. So it will be a 1-for-0 in the mid lane as they move in towards this dragon. It is Ocean Dragon. It is the Soul, and it's got less than a minute left on it.
It is not Soul yet. It is.
No, it's not Soul Point, but the Ocean Dragon is the Soul Dragon.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Misunderstood. But yeah, Razmataz going forward there, and honestly, Ball Slap should have died there, but the Black Shield came in at just the right time, and the Flash was able to keep Ball Slap alive, and that just left Razmataz alone.
They will trade a T2 tower in mid as the Karthus gonna try to steal it with the Luden's Echo, but a bit late on that ultimate. Means that the Ocean Dragon will go over to the side of Astro Gold.
Yeah, don't like that ultimate use.
I mean,
not a fan of that one.
Honestly, like, if I were the Karthus here, I'd use it. My ultimate's on a relatively low cooldown anyway, and it's like, if I can get it off
cooldown.
It's already a third over, and it's been like 15 seconds. This man's got 45% CER already. Come on.
All right. Yeah, he's got Ultimate Hunter too. Yeah. Okay. That's why it's a low cooldown. I was like, base cooldown is not low on that thing.
Irish Boomer coming in with the Steadfast Presence into the E, but will get caught up by the Misfortune and go down as the Bully. Taking down to about 400 health. Final Spark not going to go on to Crazy Coffee, but 2 autos from Aphelios will spell the doom of the top laner, so it will be a 1-for-1 as they save this mid lane, or top lane tier 2 turret.
Honestly, I think the only reason that play actually got a kill out of it was because XIL took so many tower shots early on and had to back away. With XIL full health in there, I feel like Beaver Beatdown just goes all in and wins that fight.
Yeah, and obviously Beaver Beatdown did have a very good Misfortune ultimate there. However,
yes,
it's one of those cases where it's the small plays that are really keeping Astro in this game. There is a 3k gold advantage. However, with that gold, mostly I would say on the Karthus and on the Jarvan actually, you're not going to get the damage spike you would typically see at this 25-minute mark because the Misfortune doesn't even have her Infinity Edge yet.
Yeah, that said though, the Misfortune ultimate still is gonna hurt. It is level 2 at this point. We are level 11, and it is definitely not something you want to chase into. So if they can set up the Misfortune in the right spot, combined with Karthus running through your team with the Defile and the Requiem coming through afterwards, there's a lot of AoE damage there that can just wipe out the entirety of just the blue team there.
Crazy Coffee might be in a bit of trouble as he goes in on Irish Boomer, but does get knocked up. The rest of his team is here. Irish Boomer now taking out about half health as Misfortune Ultimate will be used, not able to get anyone as the Realm of Death will be popped onto YRU. Running Crazy Coffee will pick up the trade kill on Irish Boomer though, as DKFM not able to get the kill on YRU running quite yet, but he will go down to Daddy Rib as the Lux Ultimate will get 2 in her wake.
Requiem,
double kill going over to the Aphelios. Daddy Rib will go down to the Requiem as Bully will pick that one up. So overall, it is a 3 for 2. But once again, these fights coming out in favor of Astro Gold, despite their gold deficit.
Yeah, DKFM getting right up in the face of that MF ultimate and taking Why Are You Running out. Did end up with Why Are You Running dying there, but because MF was just not in most of that fight, all of the damage was just the Karthus, and there just wasn't enough to go around. Karthus has to get in range of people, and without MF in the backline also being a threat, it was easy to just take him down. And Jibs and Bits was very close to dying, but able to get out just at the last moment.
Yeah, and obviously, you kind of look at, not obviously, but you do look at, you know, how that fight came out. What could have gone better? And really, I feel like it's just an execution difference. Beaver Beatdown, they had the Misfortune ultimate lined up, but unfortunately, everyone was able to get out of it. And I feel like you just kind of have to wait for the Jarvan in those cases, and maybe they can realize that and make the adjustment before their gold lead gets formed.
They need the QSS too. We've talked on it, not to harp on it too much, but it needs to come through. That is exactly where they could have used it, because then MF just pushes the button, it is back out of the death realm.
Yeah. Regardless, though, Baron is now respawned. Ocean Dragon, the second one of the game, will be spawning in less than a minute here as we see Darius split pushing in that bottom lane. Setup, though, coming in from Astro Gold, they do want to force a fight in this mid lane while they see the Darius on vision.
Yeah, allowing Darius to split push right now. There is no teleport for Astro, so they can't really send Mordekaiser down there because it does put them at a disadvantage.
Dragon up 30 seconds. Binding gonna land on to the Mordekaiser, but that might be the trade kill on to the Misfortune as she is forced to use the stopwatch to get out of that one. And here comes Requiem. Goodbye. Well, you're gonna pick up that kill.
Another kill. Now
another one. I feel like if she had the W, she might have been able to stay alive, as Irish Boomer will go down here to the ultimate from the Darius, so the Dragon will be secured for Beaver Beatdown. Their first Ocean Dragon of the game. One more for them will be the Soul.
And that was just being lackadaisical there, walking around in the jungle for really no reason. I know they wanted to contest that dragon, but when you have your jungler down, that is just one you have to give away. And that's going to, or not your jungler, I'm sorry. But when you have a player down, it is very hard to try and contest that. And now because the jungler is down, that's going to allow them to get onto this Baron once again.
Yeah, might be their second Baron pickup of the game. They do have Lux for a potential snipe here as the double binding lands. Pull down into DKFM, but he actually uses, dodges the Misfortune ultimate while staying in it. I'm not exactly sure how he did that. He didn't Realm of Death to get out.
Wait, really?
Yeah, he just didn't take any damage from it. Huh.
I guess it's just all the armor?
I mean, he's only got a Zonia's plus a Bramble Vest.
And Ninja Tabi.
I mean, he used the, I guess...
It was the W damage.
It was the W.
It was the W shield.
But that means that they are able to start up on the Baron, so a nice distraction play does give them this opportunity. Razmataz and Crazy Coffee are looking for a way into the pit, though, as the Dark Binding and Light Binding both going to be a miss. Exile waiting for the Flag and Drag opportunity. Knock up from the Baron as Misfortune will use the Hail to get some vision into the pit. Razmataz now going to go in. He's taking on about half health. Crazy Coffee forced to do some damage. Not able to get it with the Noxian Guillotine, but he will trade it regardless. Crazy Coffee and Jibs and Bits trading their lives as Daddy Rift will pick up that one and eventually go down to the Bull. He's on a rampage. TKFM now in the Realm of Death up against the... what? Okay. I guess just gonna use the Sony's Hourglass and keep the other person in the W as the Misfortune will use the bullet time to get some remaining damage on the ball slot. He's the last member of his team alive. We'll get the double binding as Exile looking for the flag, the drag, one more Odd will do it, and the ace going over to Beaver Beatdown.
And that was just an absolutely crazy fight. Razmataz there getting a great hook onto Daddy Riv and forcing him to play so far back. And the ultimate, or not the ultimate, the Misfortune damage actually able to come through that time. The because the Mordekaiser did take the Karthus in after that fight was pretty much over there. Bully going a little bit too aggressive there, just standing in the Mordekaiser passive. Little confusing on that one, but still coming out ahead for Beaver Beatdown now as they are just posturing around this Baron once again.
Anyways, yep, I was just about to go ahead and time out some members' chat. We're being a bit too much here. Sorry about that, but that is just how we're gonna have to do it at the moment. We do not make fun of our players in chat. Please don't.
That's my job.
As we do see, the Baron actually wasn't taken up there, so we might see another Baron fight break out. 4K gold lead, once again built up by Beaver Beatdown, but they do need to execute on these fights as we see the QSS finally being completed by YRU Run.
Yeah, finally able to get that down. I do understand why the Infinity Edge was prioritized. I really still would have liked to see that come out earlier, but still, we have the QSS now. It does mean that the Mordekaiser cannot realistically ult the MF, and that opens up a lot of opportunities now. It's still probably worth it to use the Mordekaiser ult just to cancel the MF ult, and oop, there's Boomer moving up.
Going out of Crazy Coffee, not able to get the stun though, as the Mordekaiser is here for the follow-up damage, as is Daddy Riv. Flash going to be forced out of Crazy Coffee, and that's going to be a dead Darius. DKFM will pick up the kill credit there, as we do see the rest of his team actually going over on to the Baron. They're going to try to rush this one down, and a Baron.
Yep. They should be able to get that there because the Misfortune, you have the Karthus as well. That's going to go down very quick there.
Does know they're in the pit. Bully actually taken down quite a bit by
TP.
That ultimate.
Are they going to get out,
TP
though?
is going to be channeled, and the Baron does go over to the side of Beaver Beatdown. They're going to make their way out of this. 4-second recalls being channeled as they head back to base. So nice play from them, seeing everyone is taking care of their top laner and getting the Baron buff for themselves.
Yeah, and that is going to just be the Baron coming out for pretty much just Crazy Coffee, as well as the flash from Razmataz. So another Baron going over as the objective control really coming through there, and great snap decision to just go for that as soon as everybody showed in that bottom side.
To answer the question in chat from Chrono Swift, in order to get this more zoomed out view, you have to edit some configuration files. I do not have the link on me at the moment, but there's a Reddit post about it, made about a year or two ago, on how to create a keybind to let you zoom out further than the normal limit in spectate mode. Bully
I actually did
on Irish Boomer, 1Q actually chunks him out for about a fifth of his health. Huh.
Yeah, that's isolated Karthus damage.
Isolated Karthus damage. Nothing to see here. See both junglers aggressively using their red trinkets. Irish Boomer. Hey, he gets the ward. Oh no, one life binding from Ball Slap. Razmataz not taking any follow-up damage though. He's just rooted. He's just like chilling. Yeah, I'm rooted. What are you gonna do about it? As they push onto this bottom tower, Poppy can use the ultimate to get two champions out of there, but Bully is still here with the Baron buff and follow-up damage. Power goes down to half just from that one wave, though.
Yeah, just trying to buy time and waste as much of this Baron as they possibly can. So I do understand it. They do have to be a little bit careful.
Again!
Yeah, the Poppy ult is their one big, like, super hard disengage. So with that down, they are a little bit open to a dive.
Holy crap, that damage coming in off of Bully. And they, as you see, he's using the Qs to kind of zone them off their own wave. And here comes the Requiem, taking everyone down super low. Redemption's
gonna... The anti-Karthus ult.
There was also like 3 different shields on the Poppy. There's passive shield, Lux shield, and Morgana shield. As you see, mid lane being pushed in. Bot lane turret will go down finally. as they were able to keep that cannon alive. He's still alive. No, he's not. Crazy Coffee and XIL looking for an engage. We'll get the Cataclysm as the bullet time comes through, and that's the ultimate that he want to get, as he will not be able to get the kills, but everyone's down super low. Noxie and Guillotine not able to get any pickups, but will get a kill regardless, as XIL will go into the realm of death. Billy will get the kill on Irish Boomer as he goes down to the Morgana here. Realm of Death was used as a disengage tool, but not able to get any follow-up. That will be a 3-for-1 at the moment in favor of Beaver Beatdown, but Daddy Rip is here. He does have GA, and he might be looking for a bit follow-up damage. Won't be able to grab it. But the Baron buff is over. Able to get 2 towers, but not much else. Well, 2 towers and 3 kills, I should say.
Yeah, and honestly, that could have gone a lot worse there, so Astro able to play that pretty effectively. They still have their inhibitors and their inhibitor towers available, so not the worst thing in the world considering how things were going.
Yeah, Void Staff going to be picked up by the Karthus here on this back. We'll be completing that out with a Rabadon's Death Cap as he approaches full build. Lux currently only on 3 items, one of which is a Banshee's Veil, so I will see her go into the zone use Hourglass, as we do see the broken stopwatch in her inventory, but definitely this has been the Karthus show pretty much the entire game. Jungler now has a bit of a lead on himself with the stair escape being built up, so really just looking to get those fights to play out exactly as they were in the last fight.
Yeah, so now the question is, what is going to be the next thing that is fought over? Because the objectives we're still waiting on for a little bit longer. And the waves are pretty much pushed out.
You can't have him hit level 18 right there. But he is going down super low to this Darius. Has pulled him into the realm of death. Now to about half health from both. The heal from the Conqueror Q is so high. DKFM forced to use the Zone Hourglass to dodge out of the Requiem. Crazy Coffee down to about 300 health. He's able to heal back up off the Q. They keep going back up to half health. I don't know who's winning this fight, but it looks like it'll be a fun one, as Crazy Coffee will finally get the kill with the Noxie and Guillotine. Top lane combat at its finest, as Ball Slap will eventually go down here to XIL with the Cataclysm. Irish Boomer now trying to disengage the fight, not able to get the flash of the wall, but will use the Steadfast Presence to get out. So it will actually be a 2-for-0 across the map here.
Irish Boomer there actually kind of playing a little bit for the other team there, is just getting that Karthus out of a bad situation there. Ultimate, I believe, still did hit, but Bully able to stay alive through all that because getting knocked out of there didn't let any other follow-up damage come through. But yeah, the top lane was, they're having a good time. They're just going at it.
We do see Mordekaiser, so does have completed Spirit Visage, so lots of healing on hit there, but also has an Asher's Tooth now, so extra damage. Would
sold
expect
the
to
Bramble
see
Vest.
He sold the Bramble Vest. Interestingly,
That I was really confused as to why the Greatest
why.
Wound wasn't going through, and why
there's a
Darius was
Thornmail
healing
on
so
the
much.
Darius as well.
Oh, he just gave it. He just walked over and gave Bramble Vest over to Darius.
I mean, I guess he's trying to swap over to a more damage-focused build. Like, he still doesn't have a Rally's Crystal Scepter.
But it worked so well.
I mean, it did. I don't know. I can't get into DKFM's mind here, but maybe he sold it because that way he could get the Nasher's Tooth. We'll see. Irish Boomer getting Steadfast Presence to get Stun over the wall. We'll get the root on to his support, but Bully will go over the wall with the Blast Kill, and that means Irish Boomer going to be engaged upon Flag and Drag, and the Cataclysm now back on a Ball Slap, but he's caught in the pit with the enemy jungler. Daddy Rip going to be able to do free damage. Bully doing some bit of damage himself as DKFM puts the flash out of the way. In the 1v3 there, Bully's on a killing spree. He's able to get the kill on a Poppy, and now will go down to the Aphelios, but will use the Requiem to trade back the kill. Morgana not able to get it with the Black Shield, as that will eventually be a 3-for-2 in favor of Beaver Beatdown. Kind of had 2 separate fights going on there, as there was a lot of backline dive and not a lot of follow-up damage.
Yeah, and now DKFM just not able to get anything done because he's just walking into multiple people. We're no longer getting those 1v1s, and it seems like because of these itemization changes, Crazy Coffee is actually able to win these fights if played correctly. And now with only the Lux and the Aphelios alive, that will be the inhibitor going down.
Yeah, you can kind of push here, but still, Misfortune, just an E, will make sure that everyone is happy with that result. And by everyone, I mean everyone on his team. We do see Aphelios now almost a full build, has another Zeal. We'll expect probably a rapid fire cannon from him, as we see Misfortune also pretty close to full build. Does have rapid fire cannon as well as a Vamp Scepter, so we'll be going into Bloodthirster and then probably completing that QSS out as the final item.
The other thing that really irks me about the Bramble Vest being sold is it's an Ocean Soul now on the side of Beaver Beatdown.
Oh,
that
right.
Bramble Vest would have done so much to negate the in-combat healing that they were receiving from that Ocean Soul.
So
It's just such a... I really, really dislike that decision.
interestingly, Aphelios actually going for the Phantom Dancer here, so looking to tank up a bit of damage in these fights now, or I should say, not get as punished by being caught out by the Jarvan, if at all. Irish Boomer going to get some free damage on the Razzmatazz, but he kind of just stays alive.
He kind of just exists. He's just vibing.
Requiem gonna be popped. We didn't see the result of that Requiem, but I assume it's gonna be a lot of damage.
It's a fair bit.
Fair bit of damage. Irish Boomer.
Half health on the lower health, on the lower level champions.
They are starting this Baron. Will be another Baron fight, potentially, as Razzmatazz and Bully are playing zone DKFM. Potentially gonna look for a flank here, as the Baron will go down here. Pretty much uncontested. 2v to beat down, but here comes the follow-up fight. Razzmatazz now in the front line, not gonna be able to get any damage out, as the ultimate will be used by DKFM. Does get zoned out by the Misfortune ultimate as the damage comes through, and that might just be the game, as all this damage from the side of Beaver Beatdown does mean a triple kill goes over to Bully. So they're going to TP right in with the Baron buff and finish this game and take game one in this series. Black
Yeah,
Lord? Nope.
and just the AoE damage coming through there. Looks like we might just get a little bit of ring around the rosy, but the AoE damage, the Karthus and the Misfortune, getting the ultimates in the right spots, and just all of that AoE damage meant there was just not enough beefiness to keep that damage zoned out. And that it allowed them to take the Baron multiple times, that allowed them to win these fights, and allowed them to win the first game of this series.
Yeah, really well played from them. We're able to... It was close there for the first bit of the game. They had a couple of misplays towards that mid-game, but they were able to adjust and take that one out. Really well played from Bully in particular in that mid lane, but especially towards the end of the game, we saw some really good plays coming out from XIL and Crazy Coffee as well. All that being said, though, just time to take a break as we get ready for game number 2. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Zero Gravity Gaming Gold League.
is that? Light work with the bass on the track, on my face to the back like I'm taking a slap. I need a drink, but it's straight from the tap. And I'm hating the slack, couple man slide around like the hate in the gaff. Please stop talking that trash, cause the vibes in the front all the way to the back. Is that light work with the bass on the track, on my face to the back like I'm taking a slap. I need a drink, but it's straight from the tap. And I'm hating the slack, couple man slide around like the hate in the gaff. Please stop talking that trash, cause the vibes in the front all the way to the back.
Those medical pills that push me over. I kill my fill 3 times a day. These ethanol fumes won't make me sober. One flame to take the pain away. I caught you lighting matches in the back room. Haters look mad when they pass you. Let's talk about around when it's past due. Reach a glass, do know. You don't gotta fight alone. Alone. You don't gotta fight alone. Alone. Don't be so personal. Take me out of the everyone's seen death in their dreams, but we still wake up and go to sleep. Everyone's seen death in their dreams, but we still wake up from our sleep. I'll be home soon. You don't gotta fight alone. Alone. You don't gotta
think the girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I think the girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done. I think the girls with their nails done. I think the girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I think the girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done. I think the girls with their nails done.
Ours are up. Okay, they started. 5-second warning.
Okay.
They can hear us, by the way. I don't know when.
I know that I found somebody else to love me one day. You'll realize the grass ain't greener on the other side. No, you did me dirty for the last time. Gotta say goodbye.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Zero Gravity Gaming Gold League. My name is Fennec. Joining me on the desk today is the lovely Thousand Eyes, and we are in Game 2 of a Week 9 matchup between Beaver, Beatdown, and Astro Gold. Beaver taking game number 1. As we get into these picks and bans, what are you looking for?
Probably a Karthus ban. I feel like that one's going to be taken out. Also, we'll be wondering if we're going to see any of the 80 carry bans, maybe the Misfortune ban. possibly the Darius. Those are all things that seem to be things that Astro had struggles with. Even though the Darius was in check for a while, I think late game they didn't seem to really have a great answer for it. But yeah, the Karthus, absolutely. I don't think Astro really had a strong answer for that.
Yeah, and we did see them ban away the Karthus. That said, that does leave Ornn up, and that was first picked by Beavers. Mundo Galio being picked up by Astro. As we see Zyra Khan being picked up by Beavers here. And already I'm kind of favoring the Beavers draft.
Yeah, I am. Did they change actually? Because I'm not seeing things.
Yeah, it's the new link.
Ah, that would be my issue there. So that explains a lot. All right. So Zyra Khan being taken here, and that is definitely a combination that we have seen rival these champions that we have seen, the Senna, the Aphelios, and the Misfortune, but only with them together. Ornn also being taken as that is available. The other side, though, Astro taking both the Galio and the Mundo, that does, or the Galio and the Syndra, that does show that the Galio will be support, as the Rengar showing here will show that the Mundo will be in the top lane.
Yeah, and honestly, you see Ornn, you're like, I don't want any AP damage. I don't want any magic damage on my team. Let's take Mundo and Galio, right? That said, now you're looking, okay, so Galio's in the support position. We have Syndra, we have Rengar, but them have damage sources. Syndra kind of scalps in the late game a bit. But now you're looking at, where's my late game damage now? Because I now have a tank and an AP bruiser and a mid-game power spiking jungler and a mid-game power spiking mage.
Where's the DPS?
Where's the DPS? I want to know what their AD carry is. We'll see that coming out. We actually see Trundle being picked up in the jungle from Beavers here. Kind of as a counterpick to the Mundo, right?
Yeah.
And Ziggs being picked up in the mid lane, as that was not banned away this game.
Yeah, so Beavers do have a much stronger late game composition currently right now. But their early game is very suspect, and Mundo has a lot of damage early that people aren't prepared for. Is it going to be the Vayne that is hovered right now?
I mean, that would be late game damage insurance if I've ever seen it. And it is the Vayne.
Yeah, the thing that worries me is there isn't a whole lot of ability for Vayne to get into these fights. The engage from Astro is on the Syndra stun or the Galio, and a Ziggs, Xayah, Ornn, like those are all champions that can play very far back and still be effective. I don't see a way for Vayne to really get into these fights unless they get really, really hectic.
Yeah, definitely. And looking at these drafts again, Beavers once again, or the last game they drafted a 4-1. This game kind of as a counterpick to the Astro 4-1, but this game definitely a full-on team fight comp. You have Ornn, Trundle, Ziggs, Xayah, Rakan. Just lots of engage from the Ornn, Rakan, Trundle. Lots of AoE and huge damage numbers really coming out, especially late game from the Xayah and the Ziggs. Meanwhile, Astro, though, does have a lot of tank, does have a lot of anti-AP on their team. However, I'm trying to figure out where exactly they're looking to play around. Like, what does this comp do?
For Beavers?
No, for Astro.
For Astro. Really, it's just playing mid-game around the Syndra and the Rengar, and then having the Vayne as their late-game damage. Really, in this mid-game, Syndra and Rengar will be able to blow up anybody they're able to get in range of. And the Galio is there able to follow up on the Rengar with the invisibility. That does mean there's a lot of ways for Galios to get into the middle of the fight. But it is definitely going to be really hard to do with all the siege power that Beavers have. It has to be really on Rengar to start these fights and make sure that Galio follows up.
Yeah, and obviously, when you have a Galio on your team, especially in the support position, you're essentially saying, we don't do anything late game, right? Like, I love playing Galio, love him to death. He's a fun champion, but he does nothing late game. And that's the biggest thing about their comp, kind of, is you have a team where you have a very strong mid game, but one of your tanks stops being a tank come late game. So I'm interested to see how they try to push the pace if they fall behind, right?
Yeah, definitely. The man, I really don't know how I feel about this. Astro's comp is just so
It's wonky. Yeah.
It's so very, like, you have such a hard mid game spike and you have the Vayne for late game damage, but like, it doesn't fit together. It just, you're mashing the triangle block into the square hole right now.
I mean, I will say, right, this could all just be comfort champion type stuff, right?
Oh, totally, yeah. I get that.
And sometimes there's value in doing that, especially as we get lower and lower in terms of elo. However, we look on Beavers and they have a very obvious game plan, right? Engage with Ornhorn, follow up with Ornhorn or Rakan Grand Entrance, follow up with Trundle to make sure people are locked down, get Xayah and Ziggs to do all the damage, and they have Ornn and Trundle both kind of to protect them from incoming damage from Astro. And meanwhile, Astro is, you can charge at them with Mundo, you can charge at them with Galio, you can charge at them with Rengar, really. But then, once you're out of mid game, really your only late game power spikes are Mundo and Vayne, and even then, it's going to be difficult to get into the Beavers comp with those champions against Ornn and Trundle, because Trundle can go ahead and just steal Dr. Mundo's stats, and then all of a sudden Ornn just keeps Vayne out of the fight completely.
Yeah. The not only just that, but just the amount of area control that Beavers have right now. The Trundle pillar, the Ornn pillar and knockup, the Ornn ultimate, Ziggs, Xayah blades. There's so much that it's just so scary to move up at all. Honestly, I am very, very critical of this Vayne pickup.
Yeah. I mean, once again, as far as overall things go, on the importance of this match, right? Astro's in playoffs no matter what. They're not going to have to go through Gauntlet. So maybe they're trying out some stuff. Beavers obviously has no chance of getting into the Gauntlet. However, off to kind of prove, we belonged in this league. Just unfortunate luck there. And game one really did show that Beavers do have strong players and they work together as a team fairly well. So as we wait for the spectator delay.
Support Syndra.
Wait, hold up.
What? Let's support Syndra, baby.
They're trolling.
They're not. So that actually does change things up a little bit, because the Galio will output a fair amount of damage given the ability to build AP.
But he still falls off late game and does nothing late.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Not disagreeing with that, but it does change how their composition works. So Syndra's no longer meant to do like super big burst damage, like not as much as a mid lane Syndra would do. It's all about getting the
Vayne.
Getting zoning for the Vayne, getting the Syndra stun off, and how that can basically force Rakan and Xayah to play so far back that they aren't able to bully this Vayne as much. In the mid game team fights too, one of the things that I have actually seen I remember back a couple of years ago, there was a support Syndra played in a professional game in Korea, and that Syndra, what they did pretty consistently was ult first and then use the scatter the weak for a massive stun.
Yeah, and I do look forward to seeing how the Syndra plays, right? If it is a very comfortable pick for Jibs and Bits, could be a difference maker in fights, kind of for that reason. But then you look into the lane matchups, and we haven't had time to talk about these lane matchups, but now that Syndra's in the bot lane, mid lane becomes incredibly Ziggs favored.
Absolutely, yes. Galio, once some AP comes in, Galio is able to clear waves pretty well, so it's not the worst thing in the world. Galio can handle that matchup. It's not great, though.
You're up against an artillery mage, though, and that's kind of the big difference maker here, right? Ziggs has so much range that Galio can't gap close with his EW combo like he can with mid-range mages, or especially with AP assassins, right? Classical counterpick to Akali. But seeing this kind of situation, Bully now has to bully his way in lane, and if he can keep the Galio from getting the AP, all of a sudden they don't even have mid-game damage, right? Because Syndra's no longer a big damage dealer, so I think that's kind of the trap that Astro may have drafted themselves into.
A full AP Galio is scary.
Yes.
To be fair, it's not something you want to sneeze at, but it's like the goal of the lane is less about being able to counterpick those engages from like an assassin. It's now more just about using the Q and farming the wave as much as possible and then showing up in the mid game.
Yeah, I just think that Ziggs, especially like with Arcane Comment, right, can just go ahead, like Galio comes over, Ziggs Q, Galio loses half of his health, right? Even with the Shield of Duran passive, it's just, I think it'll be very tough at the very least in lane for this Galio, and I don't think that translates to a very good mid game. And with a team like theirs, he's their source of mid game damage. I'm just not sure. Maybe it'll work out for them. Maybe they know something I don't know. Regardless, we're in loading screen now. We haven't had time talking about much of these lane matchups, but rapid fire starting the top lane, it will be Ornn versus Mundo.
Do we need to talk about that lane? It's a bunch of beefy boys punching each other a bit.
Yeah, but Ornn has early game damage.
Ornn has early game damage, yeah, so does Mundo. Depending on your max.
You're right.
If it is E max, it's probably Q max. That's generally what you see for top lane Mundo, but E max Mundo hurts.
Yeah. As we do see, we are loading into the Rift, but game has been paused. So that gives us more time to talk about matchups in the jungle. It will be Trundle versus Rengar, but really it's a Trundle versus Mundo.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, so it's basically Trundle needs to make things happen early on. Rengar not able to gank terribly well in the early portions of the game. Does need that level 6 in order to make an impactful gank without any kind of setup. But Trundle with the pillar able to make a lot of things happen. It does also mean that Ornn has something not his own to set up for an E for the knockup. So Trundle can set up Ornn without Ornn using the Q. But with how these matchups are probably going to go, it's probably going to be bot lane focused is where I would like to see XIL go. That is the lane that has the squishy champions that you're going to be able to kill past the early game, and it allows for the Zion Rakan to kind of run away with that lane.
Something to note here, though, Wonderworld has been subbed in for Astro here, so we do see Irish Boomer being lane swapped to the mid lane, ball slapping lane swap to AD carried as well. So a bit of an interesting one.
Just slide him down a little.
Yeah, so Wonderworld coming in place of their EDC, but in the role of jungle. So, you know, once again, last match of the season, not necessarily the most important match for Astro or for either of these teams, but could be an entertaining one, regardless, as we see 5 points coming out from both these teams. A bit of an invade to get some vision from the side of Astro, so they were able to get invasive vision onto the enemy red buff, but to counter that, Ziggs does have a ward right by the enemy Raptors, so he will be able to see where the Rengar starts.
Yeah, not just that, but also we'll be able to see where Rengar is pathing to. If Rengar is going to go straight for the Gromp or is going to go for the Golems, probably the Gromp, but it is good to see.
That is my favorite ward as mid lane.
Yeah, it's a very, very good early game ward if you are somebody who is able to get a ward in on the Raptor area. It does a lot for your team in the early game for jungle tracking.
Yeah, so we do see Rengar up going towards his Krugs as his second camp here. Not too much on the level 1 from any of these teams. Really don't expect too much. You see Bully actually just trading on Irish Boomer, and this is kind of what I was talking about with Galio really doesn't have recourse for Ziggs. Like, even at this level 1, it's just Q after Q after Q, and because Ziggs Qs cost next to no mana, it's going to be like that pretty much for the rest of the laning phase.
Yeah, until Galio is able to get a bit of damage and clear these waves efficiently without getting up close to them, that is going to be how that's going to go. Once the Proto Belt starts coming through, that should be a little bit better.
As we see,
top laners fighting back and forth.
Yeah, lots of damage from both of them on their level 2s here, but ends up being even in terms of damage. As we see, Shielded Durand actually able to get the taunt on a Bully there, so he was a bit far forward. Does use the Q one more. Auto will do it, flash forward. Irish Boomer gonna go down, but will potentially be traded on to Bully here. Actually, he's able to stay alive as DKFM now. Getting traded on top lane. Here comes XIL. Flash out of the way, but XIL just going to use the pillar, and the bite will end up securing that kill. So it will be a 2-for-0 across the map in favor of Beaver Beatdown to start out this game.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we talked about as far as the jungle went, because we wanted to see either, you know, once the lanes kept going, seeing the bot lane pressure, and early game possibly seeing the top lane come through. And with all that trading there, and knowing that the Rengar already went for his Krugs and would not be in that area anytime soon, the ward did work there. That did give XIL the opportunity to go for that early game.
Yeah, and especially as we see Trundle approach level 6, this Mundo's going to be less effective if he gets ganked. However, right, we do know that if Trundle's not around, Mundo kind of just does what he wants because he's Mundo once he hits level 6, right? Because he hits the ultimate and all of a sudden he takes no damage unless there's a Trundle around to make sure Trundle takes no damage, and Mundo now takes all the damage.
Yeah. So definitely smart moves early on by Beaver Beatdown. And Astro looking a little bit out of sorts right now.
Yeah, Irish Boomer can use a Shielded Durand to get out of this gank here, but he's pillared back.
Good
Here comes
pillar.
Zig, looking for potentially a package to knock him back. Instead, just going to let his jungler flash forward and get the bite for his second kill of the game. And a 2-0 Trundle is not something you want to be up against, because, you know, we typically talk about Trundle as, you know, he's an anti-tank, right? But he still builds damage. Remember that.
Yeah, Trundle has such a great mid-game spike. If he gets ahead, he just kind of is able to run away with it. So getting ahead of this Rengar early and making sure, like, you are ahead of him and can basically beat him in an early game fight, that's very, very good. And now, especially this mid lane too, going very well.
Yeah, and also Rengar starting with the triple longsword start, so he won't be completing his jungle item before his serrated Dirk. I would expect, we haven't seen Trundle back quite yet, I would assume that he goes ahead and completes, or starts building towards his jungle item here. Might be Cinderhulk with the recent buffs, but we will see, as Irish Boomer once again losing these trades onto the Ziggs, trying to pop the shield around to take a little bit less damage there, but not a fun matchup for the Galio.
Definitely not.
We see Orin winning trades onto Mundo here. Once again, once Mundo hits 6, he'll be able to kind of just heal up and no longer lose out on these trades.
Yeah, good trading though from Crazy Coffee there. Doing the combo pretty much perfectly there. Able to get the auto attack in just at the end there for the grass proc, on top of just utilizing the knock up to pop the brittle. So Crazy Coffee does look very comfortable on this champion.
Yeah, and we do see Bully, or not Bully, I should say, XIL does buy the Bomby Cinder, so he's going for Cinderhulk, first item on this Trundle. So not unexpected. Cinderhulk buffs means that it helps the jungle clear quite a bit. As we see, Ziggs was a bit far forward, but was able to use the package, or Explosive Satchel, I should say, to win out on that trade regardless. Once again, not a fun lane for Galio.
Yeah, I was just imagining Corky just screaming through Summoner's Rift when you said that.
A satchel package, same thing, right?
Yeah.
DKFM does hit level 6
Synonyms.
here. As Crazy Coffee just gonna use the Breath of Forge God. That is, no, it's Bellows Breath, not Breath of Forge
Bellows
God.
Breath.
Yes. But he will take his first back here, I would assume. Or, wait, no, he's an Ornn. He doesn't need the back. He has Bombi Cinder
Unless
already.
he's low.
So we do see
Ooh,
Ball
no.
Slap and Rengar not really close enough to make anything more out of that Cinder engage.
Yeah, worth noting, Irish Boomer is even in farm despite the 2 deaths. So not falling behind it in this lane, really. That is a good sign for them. That is one of the few things they do really have going for them. Bot lane is also going fairly well. They're able to get a lot of the farm.
You see Trundle is ganking DKFM though, gonna pop his ultimate as the Horn is gonna be popped as well. Bully first to flash out in the mid lane as Crazy Coffee will go down to DKFM. The Ziggs ulti does a lot of damage as Irish Boomer will flash forward to get the trade kill onto the Ziggs, but that will be a 2-for-1 in the mid lane and a 1-for-0 in the top lane, making it 3-for-1 in favor of Beaver Beatdown.
Yeah, top lane didn't really get to see how that went, but it seems like the Ornn getting the early damage down and getting all of that trade before the Mundo ultimate was able to confirm that kill there. And just mid lane, these Trundle pillars are doing a lot of work. Wonderworld going super deep into the tower there and getting the damage down, but Trundle was there to help protect his mid laner and confirm that kill over onto both the Galio and the Rengar. So great job by XIL. So.
And we do see Crazy Coffee, like, really well, or really good at zoning this Mundo in these trades right now. And ends up coming out ahead regardless of Mundo's inherent healing, which is something that I didn't necessarily expect to see, but it's good to see regardless, as Irish Boomer will end up winning a trade in the mid lane. EW, as is tradition, he will be going in towards, appears to be the Mercury treads here, as he does have a completed Hextech Revolver, but Bully almost to his first item here as well. Gonna get taunted up under his own tower. Irish Boomer now gonna lose out on the trade though, as there's so much damage coming in. Wins a war. Now maybe looking for the E, not gonna find it. Another Q from the Ziggs, not going to hit though, as it will actually end up being an even trade between the two of them.
Yeah, and honestly, Irish Boomer needs to play around this Revolver a little bit more. Going in without the cooldown ready means that the trade will generally go a little bit more in favor of Ziggs each time. You want to hold off on those engages until you have that cooldown back.
Yeah, meanwhile, Wonderworld in his enemy top laner's jungle, taking the Gromp. Ornn coming back in the lane. Almost to his Sunfire Canvas. DK Fem is down to about 400 health. He will be going back to base relatively shortly, as we see Bully with the turret damage getting his second plate of the game. Ziggs, man.
They do have to be careful of how low they get that, because if that gets under, I believe, 20% before the plates go down, that's going to be a lot of extra gold in Bully's pocket.
Yeah, and once again, Ziggs pushes turrets like a madman if he's able to get onto it. He has actually been not as well trading, as we do see a TP being channeled in the bot lane from the Ornn. He does have Call of the Forge God, gonna charm it, as the Syndra will be the one to fall here. Flash back, but here comes the Feather Storm, rooted up. Route the Tab's gonna get the kill onto Jibs and Bits, as we see a fight breaking out in the mid lane. Irish Boomer not gonna be able to get onto Bully, as his jungler did go down. XIL69 is unstoppable, as he is now 5-0-1. Cinderhulk to his name, now going to start building towards damage, as we see Crazy Coffee and Razmataz on the Infernal Dragon.
And that's the teleport difference. Because of that solo kill up in the top lane, DKFM was not able to answer that, and that meant Crazy Coffee could go on the offensive there. And it was a great ward in the bottom lane. You can see it. It is up towards the upper part of that river there. It was allowed Crazy Coffee to show up in the right spot, and the charm into the knockup was enough time for the teleport to complete and the Call of the Forge God to finish up.
Here comes Galio trying to save his jungler, as he's able to get a two-man shield to Durant.
They might
Now
have gone
that
too
might
far.
be a dead Ornn, as Cinder will use the ultimate, and Irish Boomer will pick up his second kill of the game there. So bit of a nice heads-up play from Irish Boomer, able to pick up a kill in a bit of a overstay from the Ornn.
Yeah, it seems like XIL and Crazy Coffee did not remember where exactly they were and where the or what their mid laner was they were playing against there, is Irish Boomer able to come through there.
Trying to gank on to Ziggs. We'll use the Sassel charge to get out of the Shield of Durand there. And gonna use the ultimate to disengage the fight as Bully does a lot of damage to Wonderworld. He is not rooted up by the net, but Galio's not close enough to follow up that with damage.
Good thing there's no bushes in the middle of mid lane.
Don't give Riot any ideas.
Last season was alcoves.
Oh, God. Look, man, I've been playing Dota recently, as we see Mundo actually will get taken down here. Does use Masochism to heal back up, but he will, or I should say Sadism to heal back up. So he is going to be able to stay alive, but he did a lot of turret damage while the Ornn was elsewhere on the map.
Yeah, got 4 plates while Ornn was going bot, dying in the jungle, and then coming back to top lane. That was 4 plates worth. That is 640 gold.
And he does have CS lead, but he's only up 300 gold because Ornn has 1 kill, 2 assists. And he's also Ornn.
Yeah, but God, we're gonna see Trundle come back top lane.
There's the charge, gonna use the Billow's Breath. DKFM has no way out of this one. Call of Forge God wasn't even needed, but XIL 69 is now dominated as he has, or dominating, I should say, as he has the Tiamat to his name as well. There goes the top tower.
Yeah, so staying a little bit too long. DKFM not seeming to really have a good grasp on things going around the map is
I don't know why are you running, but he is able to stay out as Wonderworld gonna flash forward, but he is rooted up by the Feather Storm. Why are you or not by the Feather Storm, by the Feather Pull, I should say. Why are you running? Has a play, able to stay alive, and no summoner spells blown from this bot lane.
Yeah, so chasing into Azaya is always a bad idea, and that just shows you why. And now Wonderworld.
Then to get caught out as here comes Galio. Will be able to get a 2-man taunt on the shield of Durand and able to tank up the Ziggs ultimate. Billy forced to flash out of that one as Wonderworld will go down to the Q. Exile does a lot of damage there as Irish Boomer, I should say, will flash to stay alive. So bait not quite going the way that Astro wanted there, and it will be another kill on the Ziggs. All slap. Gets rooted up by the Feather Storm, but Syndra able to use the Q and the Scatter the Weak to disengage that one.
Not able to get that stun down there, and Vayne kind of trading targets there, losing out on some DPS.
And now we see Ziggs taking the trades that I thought he was going to take, which is to say not taking any trades at all, and just...
taking tower.
And just taking tower, right? You're able to zone off the, he's able to zone off the Galio, right? Like, that's why the lane's not fun. That's why you don't want to play up against the Xerath either, as Galio. If they got too much range, you really can't do anything. ZKFM is trading in the top lane. You see Razmataz popping the ultimate, not able to get the knock-up, though, as he was brought back by the Scatter of the Weak ultimate. Not going to be used. Featherstorm now going to be popped. Exile's godlike, but the TVs are in from the top laner. Slash Roy from DKFM. He's trying to get on. Why are you running? We'll be able to grab it as now Razmataz and XIL are here. Gets pulled out under tower, but he will not go down. Galio ultimate going to be popped. XIL 69.
No, the dash.
Now gonna be able to get out of that one. The pillar. Wonderworld not gonna be able to get the net as the Ziggs ultimate comes in. Gonna do some damage, but not able to get the kills. Bully is roaming down. XIL 69 down to about 50 health as he is running away. That will end up being a 2-for-1 in favor of Astro Gold, but the TP from DKFM was already used. No, it's not over yet. Wonderworld now going to be caught out by Bully, but he's not going to get the shield of Durand as Irish Boomer now pops up. Q. Ooh, so close. Crazy Coffee, meanwhile, though, getting so much damage on this top lane tower, might be able to grab it up against the Syndra. And, in fact, does.
Yeah, now Irish Boomer is tanky enough to kind of deal with this Ziggs a little bit better. And now Wonderworld trying to heal up there. Taking the blue buff. But overall, honestly, a good call for Astro to just kind of try and get themselves back into the game. Yes, they lose the top tower, and that isn't great, but that allowed them to get some kills onto the Mundo. Mundo was able to show up behind and kind of take people off the map for a little bit. So giving them that breathing room that they really need to get themselves back into this game.
do see the dragon going to be taken by this Trundle. He's 8-0-2, by the way. He has... Is that a Ravenous Hydra? Yeah, no, he has a Titanic Hydra.
It's a Titanic, yeah.
Still going to do damage with that. If he picks up another longsword, I would expect... probably a Sterix Gauge coming out next. Oh, no, he already has... we'll see. Flash going to be forced out from Jibs and Bits. As Crazy Coffee going to move his way out. And the damage being done to the bot lane tower. Oh, Forge God going to be used. Ball slot now going to be knocked up by Razmataz, but he's tanking up the tower shots. Crazy Coffee not going to be able to get the knockup as XL goes in with a bite. Why are you running? Will get able to get on a ball slot. Zig's ultimate will pick up the support, and Bully's now on a killing spree as they get a 2-for-1 in the bot lane.
Yeah, and that's kind of what the gold lead will get you. It allows you to just dive towers pretty well.
Oh, such a charge. Irish Boomer now going to be able to get a 2-man taunt. Going to try to trade the damage, but why are you running is here. Irish Boomer, though, gets pillared up. One auto from Ziggs will do it. Bully is on a rampage. 5-1-4 on this. Ziggs has 2,700 raw gold in the bank. So we will be coming back to lane probably with Leandries.
Yeah, so now the damage coming through. XIL is just absolutely running over Astro this game. And Wonderworld just going to run away. I don't think he's going to get away, though. Does pop the ult. Has to flash.
Yeah, definitely not looking very great for Astro Silver.
But now we are seeing pretty much the reset coming through. And honestly, the longer this game goes, the less faith I really have in Astro's composition, just because of how little protection this Vayne has compared to how much damage can come out from range here. Bully is very scary right now, able to just chunk out people constantly from pretty much a whole screen away.
Yes, Ziggs, everyone's favorite, as we see Crazy Coffee gonna prevent the flank from happening. As we see DKFM gonna get an effective cleaver on to the support. As we see Galio actually gonna be able to get a taunt, but only onto one member, as the Featherstorm was used to avoid the shield of Durand. Vayne, meanwhile, gets chunked out about half of her total health. Excuse me as I zoom out a bit here to get a better view of what is going on.
And that's kind of what we talked about too. Just like Vayne can't get up even to just lifesteal to get back into this fight. As
69 on the Wonderworld. Galio ultimate gonna be used.
burn.
Just the pillar plus burn. That's insane. Will ult the Galio though. So Galio does not want to go up against XL with those Solon stats at all.
The red smite and red buff, very powerful combination.
And bits now at about 300 health. Bully gonna pop the cleanse to make sure he stays alive. While you're running, we'll pick up the kill there. Ball slap now goes forward, flashing, but here comes the ult from the AD carry, and Razmataz will pick up the kill on a ball slap. Shutdown will go over on to the Vayne though, as Irish Boomer will go down in the bot lane. So it will overall be a 3-for-1, but still definitely one of those cases where it just doesn't look good for Astro. They're down 9,000 gold at 21 minutes in a game, or in a team comp that doesn't really have a late game. Wonderworld gonna use the ultimate to force flash out of Why Are You Running? As Rakan will get a 2-man knockup. Exile69 is coming in for the flank on the back. DKFM gonna do some damage on Why Are You Running? He's down about 150 health. He will go down here. DKFM will be shut down though, as Exile goes on a legendary spree. Why Are You Running? Does pick up the trade kill on DKFM, so it will be a 2-for-1. But still, just Mundo's still able to charge at a Xayah, but gets taken down by the Feather Pole.
Yeah, Mundo not super not super far behind, able to still do a whole lot of work if left able to, but still with all of the gold disadvantage and the objectives, it's still going to be a very rough climb for Astro to get back into this game.
Infinity Edge almost completed for Xayah, as we see ornaments are coming in for the Ornn himself, has Sunfire Cape and Abyssal Mask upgraded. We'll expect to see the Xayah to get the Infinity Edge upgraded by Ornn sometime soon, as they go ahead and take this Cloud Dragon. 10% reduced ultimate cooldowns for them. But we don't see Ziggs having a Rabadon's Death Cap quite yet. I would expect that to be completed after he finishes up his Zoni's Hourglass. We already see the Fiendish Codex and Stopwatch there.
And there goes the Rift Herald, so not able to really put to any use there. Boomer's having a little bit of fun.
To use it. Boomer actually going to be able to get a knock-up on the backswing, but he does get the taunt up as Crazy Coffee wasn't able to bellow his breath in time. And now it's just taunts. This is what this game has devolved into. It's just taunts.
it's hard to really say much about what's going on here.
Like, I mean, he has AP. He has Fiendish Codex and the Blasting Wand. Not exactly sure why. I guess, does, what is it? What builds out of Fiendish Codex and Blasting Wand? It's, that MR item, right?
Fiendish Codex and Blasting Wand?
Plus, that's going to be taken out super low by the Ziggs ultimate here as he uses the Staff to charge, go forward, going to try to get the Q for the snipe, not going to grab it.
Yeah, that should be Banshees.
Yeah, Banshee's Dale. I was trying to remember the name of Banshee's Dale. I'm a mid laner. I should remember this, but also I play Anivia, so I build like...
So you never build it?
I never build it. Fun fact, Anivia, one of the champions with core Leandra's Torment. As we see, Irish Boomer goes in for the engage, but there's so much follow-up damage, it doesn't even matter. Here comes Call of Forge God as he goes in onto the Syndra. She will go down eventually here. Japan actually forced back.
Don't go on the
this
tank.
Weak Wonderworld now going into the backline as the Featherstorm will be popped. DKFM still taking up all the damage in the world, but it doesn't matter as his team is nowhere to be found. He will go down as Wiry Running uses the Feather Pull to grab that one. 2 for 0 in the mid lane, and they just will continue to push.
Oh, man. I mean, most of that was just gold advantage coming through there, but seeing Wonderworld go in on the Ornn of all people, I don't care how low he is, you're not ever going to confirm that kill. That was tilting.
Yeah, I will say, TPs are going to be used from this galley here. I will say, Bully actually does complete the Morellonomicon here. You know, I don't disagree with this. Like, it's not an Nella situation. They do have a Mundo on their team. Morellonomicon is great, especially the Mundo's ahead. And we saw Mundo, even from behind, able to tank up a lot of damage. But do you really need Morellonomicon here? We do see the first ornament upgrade for the team going to be on the Xayah, with the Infinity Edge being upgraded as expected. Death Stance actually going to be picked up by the Trundle, so he just won't go down now.
Yeah, it's looking real rough for Astro. There isn't a whole lot to say that it would really have to be a major screw up at this point.
Irish Boomer, oh man, he was just sitting on the ward. Irish Boomer gonna flash out, gets caught back in his own E, and Wiry Running is on a killing spree. They're gonna go for the Baron.
I feel like Boomer is just kind of soft throwing this game. It's just soft ending right now. It's not going terribly well, and the Baron will go down. Bully playing the intercept, but there's no one coming.
Yeah, he's gonna snipe that one away from Exile. Smite a bit early there, but doesn't matter as Ziggs now 5-2-9. Trundle 10-0-7. Just insane stats coming in from this Trundle. Ornn 3-2-6. That said, so Ornn's gonna want to ornament someone. I'm not exactly sure who he will ornament here, because if he ornaments Ziggs, he can't do it again, and Ziggs doesn't have Rabadon's Death Cap yet. He's actually not building a Rabadon's Death Cap, as we see him complete the Zona's Hourglass and just grabbing an Amp Tome for himself. so that will probably be a Void Staff then. Just more damage against the Mundo, right? So we'll see. Crazy Coffee now in the front. Rasputin is here. Here comes. Why are you running? As the Orange Horn will be called, but he gets stunned up. Bully gonna get the kill on the Jibs and Bits though, as there is just no follow-up damage. DKFM, the next one to follow as Crazy Coffee goes on a killing spree. Wonderworld going over the wall. Double kill for the Orn. Make that a double kill for the Ziggs as well, as Exile now going in on a ball slap. Here comes Rasputin. Flash forward. Not going to be able to get the grand entrance, but it doesn't matter at this point. It's just the Vayne versus the world, and the rest of Beaver Beatdown just looking for the end here.
Yeah, should be closing it out right here as Ball Slap finally able to do a bit of damage, but not gonna be enough.
Six ultimate. Actually, he satchel charges Ball Slap out of the ultimate, so it doesn't do the max damage. Pillar going to be popped, as here comes the TP from the top laner. XL is legendary, as he finally does get the kill on the Vayne. TP going to be popped from the Orn, not the TP, I should say. The recall going to be popped.
No, just
Storm will be used. Just in Bits. Actually, going to Zonia's that. Sorry, I should say forfeit that, as that will be the game. Going over to Beaver Beatdown. That is their third series win of the season, and they will end the season in, I believe, 7th place in their division. Meanwhile, Astro, despite losing that one, will end up being ranked number 4 going into playoffs. So excited to see how that shapes out for them in the future. All that being said, though, it is the last gold cast of the regular season.
Yeah, and honestly, Beaver Beatdown going out in style there, really kind of putting on their big carry pants, and XIL really doing a whole heck of a lot that game. 11-0-8 finishing up, and just absolutely dominating that top lane long enough for Orn to start getting ahead, and then Bully pulling his own weight in the mid lane. Obviously, both games played stellar mid lane, and that just let them stomp through this second game.
Yeah, just really well played from the side of Beaver Beatdown. Astro Gold, of course, does go on to playoffs. Wasn't really an important game to them, so not sure how this will create any implications towards that. That said, next week, do join us as we will go into the Gold League Gauntlet, where we will see who ends up filling out the rest of the playoff spots. That said, though, my name is Finnick.
My name is Thousand Eyes.
And from everyone here at Zero Gravity Gaming, admins, production team, and everyone in between, we will see you next week.